Doc Rivers is going to be the coach of the Los Angeles Clippers. I would first just like to thank Doc for 9 years of friendship, great coaching. He's a great teammate, and the Clippers have a really good coach heading there. We don't have a championship without Doc Rivers. In 2008, he did an unbelievable job. Gets us to the finals in 2010. You know, and a long history of great success with us over the last 9 years. And we wish him the best in Los Angeles. I know you guys have sent me a lot of questions. On May 3rd, our season ended. And there was some uncertainty as to whether Doc would return to the Celtics or not at that time. I wasn't aware of it, but you guys all made me aware of it. I thought he was certainly coming back and had every reason to believe that he would come back. But coaching is hard and it's draining, and what people say at the end of a long season, I usually don't take to heart. On May 8th, Doc and I had a conversation about his future, as I was curious as to which way he was leaning and why, and what was in his head and his mind. He was uncertain still at that time, but wondered what his options may be. On May 9th, we sent him a letter saying that we expected him to be our coach and to fulfill his contract and to be our coach for 3 more years, and that we would, that was our intention all along, and that's what we hoped that he would do. And then in subsequent weeks, conversations started as he still had uncertainty as to what he would do. We had a conversation, and him and I, as friends and partners over the last 9 years, and a guy that I really trust, we had a conversation that we discussed the possibility of him trying to get the Clipper job. There were other teams that were interested in hiring Doc, that we didn't allow any of them to talk to Doc, that had inquired. And but the Clippers was one that intrigued him a little bit. I'm sure their great young talent had a lot to do with that. And his friends, Skip and Al, his golfing buddies out in Bel Air, had a lot to do with that. But with the idea that if it wasn't going to be a win-win-win situation, if it wasn't good for the Celtics, which is what my job is to do what's best for the Celtics, and if it wasn't good for him, if it wasn't good for the Clippers, you know, we just wouldn't do a deal, and he would come back and coach. And that was the way it was from that point on, all the way up until today, when a deal was finalized. And so today a deal was finalized. We were compensated a first-round pick in 2015 from the Los Angeles Clippers. Doc was let out of his contract and reached a new agreement with the Los Angeles Clippers. And we will move forward and find a very good coach to lead our team into the next phase. Rich, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I think I just add, amplified, Doc has done an awful lot for this organization, leading us to a championship. On a personal level, he's been a great guy. He's treated people, the right way while he's been here. And, sometimes you gotta let people go, sometimes you gotta let your good people go and pursue what they feel like they need to pursue, to make themselves happy and to fulfill their needs with regard to their own careers and their goals. So while it's tough to see Doc go, I think we feel good that about everything he did while he was here and how he handled, the exit part of this. And we will be lucky to find another coach who can form as good a partnership as Doc had with not only Danny, but with our ownership group and with the rest of the organization. And certainly that's our hope, and that's what we intend to go out and find.
Any questions?
I'll pass around a microphone if we could, folks. It is live thanks to Comcast, so just share the microphone. Just take your name and affiliation if you could, please, folks. Thank you.
Danny Bill Doyle, Worcester Telegram. What's your reaction to Doc leaving? Is it disappointment? And how do you find a coach who's as good as Doc?
Well, Doc is one of the top coaches in the league, and so that will be a difficult challenge. There's my feelings are, I had planned on Doc being our coach all along. We had discussions about him being a Gregg Popovich, Jerry Sloan, a Red Auerbach, breaking Red Auerbach's all-time win record as a Celtic and being here for a long time. So I never really had thought about this day until May 8th. And even then, it was so early after the season, I didn't really think it was going to happen until yesterday. We really never were close to a deal with the Clippers in spite of the reports. So I think that, this is part of the business. I mean, I don't want to get too emotional. Doc's going to a great situation, a place that he chose to go, and a place that he wants to be. And it's not a place I chose for him to go or a place that I want him to be. And, but I wish him well. And I also am grateful for my relationship with him and for all he's done for us.
Danny, Shrub Blake with Comcast Sports Night. Could you, it sounds like you...
Shrub Blakely.
Yeah, that's it. Could you, it sounds like you and Rich, you have already kind of come to terms with Doc's departure, but for your fan base, how do you think this is going to play out with them? And obviously there's going to be some resentment, but what would you ideally like to see your fans take away from Doc's departure going forward?
Well, everybody has to make their own decisions and read through the lines. The whole story probably won't be told until I write my book in 20 years from now. Well, if I'm still around. And I don't know what the fans will take from it, but other than Doc gave us 9 fantastic years, sacrificed a lot, coached us great guide to all of you in the media, treated our fans with great respect and our players. And I've been around this game long enough to know that we're all replaceable. And I think Doc's grateful for his 9 years here, and he's looking for a new chapter. And he felt like it was time for a change. I think he felt like that, in his opinion to me, he shared with me that he felt like we all needed a change. That was his rationalization or justification of him going to the Clippers, was that he just felt that was better for everybody. I don't think there should be resentment. I know how Boston fans are and all that, but I really don't feel like there should be any resentment. It's just, this may be good for everybody. This may be a win-win. Time will tell. There are a lot of very capable coaches out there, and see how it goes. See if there's a good fit.
Because, and as you touched on earlier, you do know these fans, and it's hard to imagine that there's not going to be a sense among some of them that Doc quit on this franchise. And knowing him the way you do you share a similar sentiment, or are you completely in a different direction on that?
I'm in a completely different direction on that. I do not believe Doc quit on this franchise. I believe he believed that, and he knows the pulse of players as better than anyone. I think he believed that a change was needed. Maybe he just felt he needed a change. But Doc gave everything he could for 9 years. One of the great things that I've always appreciated about Doc Rivers is his stamina, and I've shared that publicly. I mean, he, you know, gets up and down like every coach does after wins and losses. But, you know, I mean, that sucker is there the next morning, you know, watch the film 3 times and he's ready to go again. And he's had amazing stamina, and he's given us every ounce that he has for the last 9 years. And so I would never, ever say that he quit.
Danny, Kyle from Comcast Sportsnet. Reportedly, Doc did not want to be part of a rebuild. Do you view it that way, and did you try to convince him to stay, and how did that discussion go about, just the philosophy moving forward with this roster and this team?
Well, when we signed Doc to the highest paid coaching contract in the NBA, a couple of years ago, we knew the ages of our players, and we knew that we would be at a phase, maybe it would have been last year, maybe this year, maybe next year, that a time for rebuild would be in store. And we talked about that. And at that time, before it hit him, you know, he was all on board, and I felt like I did do a very good sales job on Doc at that time. Maybe he did a sales job on me. But, you know, that we knew that this time was coming. I mean, everybody knows. And I think that it's clear that coaches are judged by wins and losses. I mean, every time you introduce a coach, you know, it's unfortunate because there's some great coaches that haven't won, and coaches that aren't great that have won. But we're always based on the result. And I think Doc's been around the block, and he sort of gets that. And he's also been in a rebuilding process, and maybe it just hit him, you know, like it was really hard those first few years here in Boston. That was a real challenge. And I've been geared up for it, and I'm ready, and I'm anxious to go through the process. We don't know when that's going to happen, if that's going to happen this summer or that's going to happen next summer, but we've been ready. We've been gearing up for that possibility. So, like I said, Doc is different. GMs prepare for the now and the future and are looking always ahead, and coaches are trying to win that next quarter and playing it game by game. So, again, I don't hold any animosity toward Doc whatsoever for this choice and this decision.
Mark Murphy, Boston Herald.
Did you get a haircut, Mark?
Yeah.
Good. Summer cut.
It's summer.
Shaved, everything. You're looking good.
Did Doc at any point express that maybe he had run his course with the current players of the team, that maybe he wasn't getting through to them as much?
Well, you know, I don't think he said it that way specifically. I think Doc just felt that a change would be good for our current players, that maybe a new voice would be better. But again, I don't, you know, I mean, I think that, I mean, he expressed that, yes, he did express that.
And the other thing, did he, you know, this past weekend in particular, when things were going back and forth and maybe got a little contentious, was he set to come back?
Yes, I think there was a little bit of indecisiveness on that, but yes, I think that he had decided that he was coming, he was coaching this year, either in LA or in Boston, and I would have welcomed him back because of our initial conversation and just sort of how we went about it, and how he handled that whole situation as well with the Clippers and with our discussions.